Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves in the fast food world lately. Did you hear? Burger King just reclaimed its spot as the second-largest burger chain in the US, overtaking Wendy's. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a numbers game, right? But personally, I think this is way more fascinating than it seems. It's not just about sales. It's about strategy, timing, and understanding what consumers really want. Let me break it down for you. First off, what makes this really interesting is the context. Wendy's initially took the number 2 spot from Burger King 6 years ago, largely thanks to its nationwide breakfast launch. That was a bold move and it paid off for a while. But staying on top is a whole different ballgame. In my opinion, Wendy's struggled to maintain its momentum, especially when faced with challenges like the pandemic, supply chain issues, and rising food costs. These aren't just excuses. They're real hurdles that any business would find tough to navigate. But here's the thing. While Wendy's was dealing with these issues, Burger King was quietly executing a turnaround plan. And it worked. One thing that immediately stands out is Burger King's strategy. In late 2022, they announced a $400 million plan to revive their U.S. business, focusing on improving food quality, remodeling restaurants, and ramping up marketing. From my perspective, this was a smart move. It's not just about slapping a new logo on the door. It's about creating a better experience for customers. And the numbers don't lie. Burger King's same-store sales have been growing for the past 5 quarters, with an 8.5% increase in the latest quarter. That's impressive, especially when you compare it to Wendy's, which has seen 6 straight quarters of declining sales. What this really suggests is that Burger King understood the assignment. They listened to what customers wanted and delivered. Now, let's talk about Wendy's for a second. What many people don't realize is that the company has been dealing with more than just external challenges. There's been a revolving door of CEOs, which can't be good for stability. In 2024, longtime CEO Todd Penegor retired, and his successor, Kirk Tanner, left after just over a year. That kind of leadership churn can disrupt any business, especially when you're trying to navigate a tough market. The new CEO, Bob Wright, has his work cut out for him. He admitted on the latest earnings call that Wendy's quality and value proposition have weakened, and that's a big deal. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about burgers, it's about trust. If customers feel like they're not getting the same quality or value they used to, they'll go elsewhere. And that's exactly what's happening. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Wendy's isn't just sitting back and taking it. They're planning their own turnaround, which means Burger King can't afford to get complacent. This raises a deeper question. In a market dominated by McDonald's, which, by the way, holds nearly half of the U.S. burger market share, how do these chains differentiate themselves? Personally, I think it comes down to innovation and consistency. McDonald's has the scale and the brand recognition, but Burger King and Wendy's have to find their unique selling points. For Burger King, it seems like their focus on quality and customer experience is paying off. For Wendy's, they need to figure out how to reclaim their reputation for fresh, high-quality food without losing sight of value. A detail I find fascinating is how these shifts reflect broader trends in the fast food industry. Consumers are more value-conscious than ever, but they're also willing to pay more for quality. That's a tricky balance to strike. What this really suggests is that fast food chains can't just rely on their name or their menu, they need to constantly evolve. And that's what makes this competition so compelling. It's not just about who's number 2. It's about who can adapt, innovate, and stay relevant in a rapidly changing market. So what's the takeaway here? In my opinion, this isn't just a story about Burger King overtaking Wendy's. It's a reminder that success in business isn't static. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow, and staying on top requires constant effort and innovation. Whether you're Team Burger King or Team Wendy's, one thing's for sure. This battle is far from over. And as someone who loves a good comeback story, I'll be watching closely to see what happens next. What about you? Do you think Wendy's can turn things around? Or is Burger King here to stay? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.